Alright, so before we start this video, we got a little bit of Eagles breaking news that actually relates to this video, and of course, it happens right before I get ready to upload, right? That's what I get for filming early. But it looks like the Eagles now not only have an offensive coordinator, but they have a defensive coordinator as well, okay? Bob Condata said this: Pete Carroll confirmed in Seattle's podium session that Sean Desai is leaving for Philadelphia, okay? So he's headed to Philadelphia. And Albert Breer wrote this: Eagles have their new defensive coordinator in Sean Desai. He was in the running in Cleveland too, was a favorite of the analytics folks there, and lines up as a nice fit in Philly, particularly with his roots in Vic Fangio's system. So we're going to pretty much see the same system, same scheme that we saw last year with Jonathan Gannon. My hope is that he has a little more of an aggressive nature, that he adjusts a little quicker, and hopefully he's a little more flexible. I don't know. We will see. I am going to give him a chance. I am not opposed to this. I am not over the hill for it, but it is what it is, and he deserves a chance, and we'll give it to him. So I'm open-minded. Hopefully, he will improve in the areas that we had problems with Jonathan Gannon, and we will see. But with that said, the Eagles now have an offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and it's time to go to work. And it's also time to start this video. Brian Johnson is the Eagles offensive coordinator, and I absolutely love this move. He deserves it. Now, he's got to go talk to Nick Sirianni, and Nick Sirianni's got to use Inception into Howie Roseman's brain, and they got to make this offense even better than it was last year. They got to make it unstoppable. Dallas still stinks. Yo, by the way, King Dingbat here, and hope everybody's having a great day. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're hanging in there. So it's official. Brian Johnson is promoted to offensive coordinator in what is a great move by the Eagles. And you can expect Jalen Hurts to have another great year. This offense is going to be unstoppable, especially after they do some of the things I think that they should do. Also, Sean Desai looks like he has the inside track for the defensive coordinator spot. He might get it by the time this video goes up. But that is what it is, and we'll talk more about that when that happens officially. The Eagles got big decisions to make. You got the Combine starting this week. You've got to have a good draft. You got to sign the right free agents back, and you got to go out and get these guys in free agency. What is Howie Roseman going to do? What's he planning? I don't know. I just know it's Howie Vision. We're all just living in it. Now, before we get into all of it, I gotta say this. If you're new to the channel and you like the content, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the most censored, most throttled, pause, Eagles content creator in all of the internet. And if you've been subscribed for a while, listen, I don't have to tell you. You guys are OGs, the best subscribers in the world. You know what to do, because the action's coming fast and furious. We should have some sort of combine coverage this week, hopefully live. Look for that. We don't play around here, okay? We've got work to do. We have unfinished business this season. We got to go win another Super Bowl, man. I want to go back to the Super Bowl, okay? So don't miss out on any of this. Subscribe if you haven't. Now, let's jump into the first thing. Brian Johnson, okay? Jeff McClain wrote this: Pound Eagles, not hashtag. It's never hashtag. Pound Eagles promote quarterback coach Brian Johnson to offensive coordinator. NFL source confirms at Adam Schefter. Not much of a surprise considering Jalen Hurts' development. Team also did not conduct outside formal interviews. Nick Sirianni said Shane Steichen's replacement will call the plays. Now, that's pretty interesting. Even after the whole year and going through another offensive coordinator, Shane Steichen called the plays. Nick Sirianni is not going to call the plays. I think that's pretty interesting that even after replacing your offensive coordinator, he still has no desire to call plays. And I'm totally good with that. If he thinks his offensive coordinator could do a better job, do it. And I got to tell you, I trust Brian Johnson. I really like him. By everybody's account, everything we hear about him, he's a rising star in the NFL. Jalen Hurts, he thinks he's going to be a star head coach someday. And I think this was a great move by the Eagles. He's the right guy to promote. I'm glad they didn't conduct any interviews. I'm glad that they basically went in-house when it came to the offensive coordinator position. Defensive coordinator position, we'll see. We'll talk about that when that happens officially. Now, I have said this in my previous videos. I think about things a little differently. I think about rebuilding this roster a little different, right? Because I know you can't go out and you can't replace the talent that you had last year. You can't replace all of it. You may be able to bring some guys back. You may be able to bring a guy in here or there, but it's very hard to replace the production that you had from some of these guys, like Javon Hargrave, James Bradbury. Okay, it's going to be hard to do that. So my feeling is make your offense even better. If you can make your offense even better, which will be an easier thing to do, then it'll take some of the pressure off the defense. Some of the holes that you may have on defense going into next season, you can really hide those because of your offense. So it's a different way of thinking and looking at it. Often people don't think of make your defense better by making your offense better. But I say sometimes you got to strengthen your strength. That's not to say you don't go out and focus on defense. I think the very first pick in the draft has to be a defensive player. I'm thinking defensive tackle, defensive end, or a cornerback. One of those three positions at number 10. So we're not ignoring the defense. We're just thinking a little bit differently on how to rebuild this roster. It'll be a little different, but that doesn't mean it has to be a bad thing. One of the things the Eagles are going to have to do, though, is they're going to have to replace Miles Sanders, because we're getting reports today that Miles isn't coming back. The Pound Eagles, not hashtag, are not expected to bring back Pro Bowl running back Miles Sanders on a second contract. Ralph Vacciano, can never say this guy's name, of Fox Sports notes. I don't think Miles is coming back. And listen, we've already kind of talked about that. We kind of known about that. Do you realize that in Nick Sirianni's tenure, he has only played in half of the offensive plays that the Eagles have had under Nick Sirianni? He's only played in half of the offensive plays. How are you going to pay a guy big money when you don't even use him the right way? When you don't even go out and give him the ball as much as he deserves it? I think Miles should get the ball more. But then again, Miles, he gets hurt. So Miles is going to go out in free agency. He's going to have get a big contract. I don't know where he's going to go. There's a lot of rumors that the Denver Broncos could be a team that goes out and gets him. Now, the Eagles are going to have to replace him. I don't believe Kenneth Gainwell is a number one back. I could see the Eagles going out, signing in free agency running back, or drafting a running back. To be honest with you, I could see them possibly doing both things. It would not surprise me to see them sign a Kareem Hunt, and then in the second, third round, they draft a running back or something like that. I truly believe this. I believe that in the first 3 picks, which are the first 2 rounds for the Eagles, I believe they will come away with a running back. Now, I know the thought process is don't take a running back in the first round. I'm throwing that out the window this year. I am. If I can get a guy like Bijan Robinson, okay, with my second number 1 pick, if I can do that, then I'm going to do it. Because I think if you added him to this offense, the fact that he's on a rookie contract. See, here's the problem. Here's the thing with running backs, right? You're going to tell me that you're going to not sign Miles Sanders, but then you're going to go out and sign a running back like a Kareem Hunt or somebody else to about the same amount of money you would give Miles Sanders. Why not just pay Miles? So, to me, if you're going to go out and you don't want to pay running back big money, then you got to draft a running back. You got to go early with the running back. So I think in the first 2 rounds, the Eagles take a running back. I would love Bijan Robinson. That's who I would like, but not at 10. Of course, you got to take a defensive player at 10. But getting your offense to be even better this year, in my opinion, will go a long way to hiding any deficiencies you'll have from not being able to fix things on the defensive side of the ball. I don't know if you can fix everything on defense in 1 year, but you could hide the deficiencies if you increase your offense. How do you improve your offense? You get a better running game. You get a better running back game, and I think you got to get another guard, because it looks like Sayamalu is going to go, and then you can look at upgrading the third wide receiver spot. So there are moves to be made which actually may be easier for the Eagles to do than fill all those defensive holes. And when we talk about the defensive holes, we're talking about Javon Hargrave, James Bradbury, T.J. Edwards, Kaiser White, Brandon Graham, Fletcher. How are you going to get all these guys back? I don't know how you do it. Okay, I do know that the priority for the Philadelphia Eagles is Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, and it should be because of his youth. Dov Kleiman wrote this: Pound Eagles view re-signing safety CJ Gardner-Johnson as, quote, high priority, source told Ralph Facciano, I can't say his name. But Gardner-Johnson might be looking to become one of the highest paid safeties in the NFL, which would be hard for the Eagles to do. This is why I'm using my franchise tag on Chauncey Gardner-Johnson if I have to. When the Eagles resign Jalen Hurts and give him an extension, they'll set it up in a way that it doesn't hurt us this year. You've got to bring Chauncey Gardner-Johnson back. He's 26 years old. You've got to bring him back. They'll work it out. I believe he will get signed, but I think that also makes it harder to sign a guy like a James Bradbury, or Javon Hargrave. I don't see those guys coming back. My hope and my goal is that the Eagles can somehow sign Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and Javon Hargrave. If we can sign those two guys, then let's say in the first round, number 10, you take a cornerback. I would feel a lot better about the defense and where it's at. But you got a lot of things to refill, a lot of holes to refill, pause on defense. So we're going to have to pick our poison. Like I said, the best way to hide some of those deficiencies, make sure you have an offense that scores a lot of points. And I think that's what the Eagles will look to do. It's a different way of thinking, I know, but I think it's the right way to think about this offseason. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, he's got to be number one priority in terms of everybody not named Jalen Hurts, right? The Jalen Hurts contract, of course, you've got to get it done. Jalen Hurts, that will happen. But besides quarterback, to me, it's Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's my number one priority. And I got to tell you, anybody that thinks at this point that Jalen Hurts should not be signed to extension, I don't know what else he could do. Even Andy Reid agreed with me. Here's what Andy Reid said about Jalen Hurts in the Super Bowl. He said, quote, very sharp, and he had a phenomenal Super Bowl. And that's about as much pressure as you're going to have. He came out and threw for a ton of yards and ran for a ton. So I think Philadelphia is in good hands right there. Andy Reid on Jalen Hurts. I mean, he's right. Jalen Hurts came out in the biggest moment or the biggest pressure situation that a football player could have in the Super Bowl, and he was outstanding. So I have no doubt in my mind that Jalen Hurts is the guy going forward. The Eagles know that as well. The question I have when it comes to the quarterback situation is this, and the Eagles are going to have to answer this. Who's going to be your backup? Who's going to be your backup? Because Gardner Minshew's gone, and I don't want him back. Okay, and you saw what a bad backup quarterback could mean to your team if your quarterback misses a few games, which Jalen Hurts missed a few games the last few years. So if I'm the Eagles, I got to tell you this. I want to upgrade my backup quarterback spot. Now, I don't know how much money that's going to cost, but one guy I think that they should pursue is Marcus Mariota. Marcus Mariota got cut today by the Falcons. He is a free agent. I think he would be the perfect fit for the Eagles. Now, I don't know how much it's going to cost him. Maybe you can sign him to a one-year deal, but I think he would be a perfect fit for the Eagles as a backup, because if Jalen Hurts goes out and he comes in, he still can do a lot of the things they want to do with Jalen Hurts. They don't have to change their whole offense. So I hope that the Eagles target Marcus Mariota. No, I knew you thought I was going to say Carson Woogie Wentz. No, I don't want Woogie. Woogie can stay with his big blisters all over his face somewhere else. The Eagles should pursue Marcus Mariota. There's a lot of questions. A lot of things are going to happen. And it's going to be fast and furious. Andy Reid, Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni will be meeting the media in a few hours from the point this video is being made. We will talk about what was said and what they had to say about everything in the next video. But the Eagles, they got a lot of work to do. And now, with looking like we have our offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator about to be in place, it's time to go to work. With that said, take care. Talk to you later. Of course, don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's Howie Vision. We're all just living in it. Alright, I caved. I got the PSVR 2. Hopefully it'll be here tonight, right? But I'm going to be looking to play some good games. So you guys got to tell me things to play. And if you have one, and if you're on PlayStation, definitely look me up on the network. My username is TonyBabo88. TonyBabo 88. 88 was for Eric Lindros back in the day. But that's what my username is. Look me up on PlayStation Network so we could play some games, because I would love to double moonwalk all your asses. Denzel Washington out.